Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gauravata Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna. So now we are discussing Bhagavad Gita. First of all, welcome all of you to our regular and daily reading of Bhagavad Gita. We are now reading chapter 2, titled as Contents of Gita Summarized by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In chapter 1, we saw that how Arjuna, after giving all these 4 types of arguments, he is decided not to fight. And in the beginning slokas of chapter 2, we saw further doubts of Arjuna, and at last he is indecisive. He is not sure what is good for him, whether to fight or not fight. And in that state of confusion, he has surrendered to Krishna and accepted him as Guru and taken as disciple position. And soon after Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, Krishna has started imparting knowledge on Arjuna. Until that, Krishna was not giving any sort of advice or anything. He was just patiently listening to Arjuna, empathizing on him. So that's a beautiful quality. We have to invest in relationship. In any relationship, if somebody is sharing some problem, opening his heart, what we should do? We should patiently hear. Hear very meticulously what is his concern. Empathize on him. Okay? Solutions, he is not expecting the solutions from you immediately. He just wanted to hear, He wanted to pour his heart. But generally we do mistake. We started, giving suggestions. We started comparing. We started giving some ideas. So those basically were not so effective. We first empathize on his concerns, try to reframe whatever concerns he is sharing with you in your own language. That's why surprisingly, means I had 7 habits training last week. So this was also one of the habit listed there. For a highly successful, effective people, he has to understand before to be understood. So this is one of the great habit. Means that time immediately it come to my mind. Oh, you see how our dear Krishna is demonstrating that behavior in Bhagavad Gita. Very patiently hearing. You see, knowledge. Arjuna is, whatever arguments he is giving. Okay, of course, from our level, it seems, oh, they are really very logical. But from Krishna's level, so they are not so, they're kind of futile arguments. But immediately, suppose, let's say, when we are at higher level of knowledge, somebody of lower level of knowledge say something, we just cut him through first. Oh, don't you know this? Don't you know that? We don't have patience. But in the relationship, first we have to listen. We have to gain the trust. Whenever the other person is ready to hear, ask for solution, suggestions, then you start giving. And yes, so this is very important habit. We also inculcate. First, understand others, then expect to be understood. Whatever you will say, that will be understood by the other person. Otherwise, they will be only bouncers to other persons. He is not ready to accept. Why should he accept your suggestions? Okay. And here Krishna started chastising Arjuna. We saw why is that? Because Krishna has invested heavily in that relationship. Like a mother scolding his child, but child is not taking it very seriously. Still he loves mother. In the similar way, Krishna had started chastising. Klebyang mas magam partha naityatva upapadyate kshudram hridaya darbalyam tyaptatishta parantapa. Klebyang mas magam partha. So have you gone importance? So all such very heavy words Krishna is using. So that's also one of the learning we should imbibe in our conversation. First, invest on relationship. That's also comes in that 7 habit training. Create your own emotional bank account. The emotional bank account means in any particular relationship, create your bank account. Means the trust level. If you have deposits, you can withdraw. So like Krishna in the second chapter beginning, he is withdrawing from the deposits because he is chastising Arjuna. But these kind of deposits are very insignificant as compared to this kind of withdrawals are very insignificant compared to the deposits he has already made in that relationship with Arjuna. So Arjuna doesn't mind. But if you will from this you will learn and you started following the same with your friend, no, you might lose because you might not have a big deposits in our emotional bank account. Why should he listen to it? Why should he tolerate your chastisement? Okay. It also all these things we can apply to our family members also. It doesn't matter. We do not get the license because we are husband or wife or father, mother. That doesn't come with this leveling. You see, some parents, whenever they school, some father who are not very connected to their children, if he schools, sometimes the children also mind it. Why? Because he has not given enough time. So there is no one case right or wrong. It is situational based. Depends on your relationship, how much you have invested on it. So create your own emotional bank account. First, we all should invest on relationship. How Krishna has created this? Sarathya, Parsatya, Sevana Sakhya Dautya, Virasananu Stavana Pranama. He used to serve Pandavas in various levels. He used to serve them as night watchman. He used to serve them as friend. He used to serve them as advisor. He used to serve them. He used to offer obeisances to Yudhishthir Maharaj and Bhima because Krishna is junior in age to them. So many type of services Krishna used to offer to Pandava. So in that he has already created a big emotional. Of course, he is Supreme Lord. He doesn't have to create an emotional bank account. But in the sense of our management principle, we can draw this lesson. Okay, so just excuse me for a minute. Sorry, somebody was knocking the door. So here, okay. Thereafter, Krishna started imparting knowledge on Arjuna, and we saw in the second section, verse number 2.10 to 2.30, Krishna will enlighten Arjuna with Atma Jnana. Krishna will enlighten Arjuna with Atma Jnana, the knowledge of matter and spirit, the knowledge of body and soul. Okay. So self-knowledge. So we are in that section. We have discussed verse 2.17 in last class. Today we will discuss 2.18. Before we go to 2.18, what all we have learned in 2.17 is that soul is present in the body. Because of presence of soul, the body start animating. And the soul is consciousness of the entire body. The consciousness is the symptom of soul. How we can say, oh, how you can guarantee the soul is there? Because you are conscious of your entire body, that is the proof that you are having soul. You see, but the individual soul is consciousness of one's body, not others' body. But the Supreme Soul, Paramatma, is pervading the entire universe. So he is consciousness of entire universe, like we are consciousness of our own body. So how our soul is consciousness of our entire body? Like when you take a medicine, the active principles of the medicine is spreading all over the body. You see, your entire body is paining. You take a paracetamol, it's just small capsule. You just took it by your mouth, and how come your entire body is relieved? Because the active principle of medicine is spreading all across the body. But similarly, when soul is present, the consciousness is spread throughout the body. And we have also seen what's the size of the soul. Balasya satabhagasya satadha. Here it is Upadesh. Satadha kalpitasya cha. It is 110,000th part of the tip of hair. That means you take one tip of hair, you break it 100 parts, and then take one part out of that, and again break into 100 parts. Then that size will be the size of the soul. So that means, in a sense, that what does it mean? The soul is immeasurable. With our vernier caliper or screw gauge, we cannot measure the dimension of the soul. Okay, these are the material dimensions, but soul is very small and it is spiritual in nature. So all these things we have learned in verse 2.17. So let us go to 2.18. Antavanta ime deha nitya syokta sharirinaha anasino aprameyasya tasma yudhyasva bharata. Please join with me in reciting. Antavanta ime deha
Antavanta ime deha
nitya syokta sharirinaha
nityasukta sariranaha
anasino aprameyasya
anasino apremayasya
tasmad yudhyasva bharata.
tasmati yudhayasya bharata.
Antavanta ime deha
Antavanta ime deha
nitya sokta sharirinaha
nityasukta sariranaha
anasino aprameyasya
anasino apremayasya
तस्मात् युध्यस्व भारत.
तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत.
Very good. Antavanta ime deha
अन्तवन्त इमे देहा
नित्यास्योक्तः शरीरिणः
नित्यस्योक्तः शरीरिणः
अनासीनो प्रमेयस्य
अनासीनो अप्रमेयस्य
तस्मात् युध्यस्व भारत.
तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत.
Wonderful. Synonyms: antavantaha, perishable; ime, all these; deha, material bodies; nityasya, eternal in existence; uktaha, are said; saririnaha, of the embodied soul; anasinaha, never to be destroyed; apramayasya, immeasurable; tasmat, therefore; yudhyasva, fight; bharata, O descendant of Bharata. Translation: the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Tasmat yudhyasva Bharata. Tasmat, therefore, yudhyasva Bharata, O descendant of King Bharata, O Arjuna, yudhyasva, fight. Therefore, fight. Why you should fight? Because what is Arjuna's concern? Remember, his concern was how can he kill his dear Pitamaha Bhishma and Guru Dronacharya. Krishna is telling the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. You cannot protect Arjuna because this is temporary. No matter what you does, Bhishma and Drona, they will definitely encounter death at some point in time. So your be concerned about their body is not very wise. The material body, whereas their soul, who are actually there, that is indestructible. That is indestructible and immeasurable and eternal. That is anashina, indestructible, apramayasya, immeasurable, and nityasya, this is eternal. Whereas the body is antavantah. Anta means end. For those things who encounter the end, they are antavanta. So that means one day they will be destroyed. Deha means this material bodies. Ime, all these. So all these material bodies, they will come to an end. And to whom this body belong? This body belong to indestructible, immeasurable, eternal. That means this is soul. The body belongs to the soul. Okay, so let's go to the Anvaya. Ime deha, these bodies, nityasya uttaha saririna, belonging to the eternal soul. Anasina apramayasya, which is indestructible and very small. We just saw kesagra satabhagasya, satadha kalpitasya cha. Antavanta are said to be temporary. Therefore, tasmad yudhyasva Bharata, fight, O Bharata. Bharata means descendant of King Bharata. Let us go to the purport. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. What to speak of killing? It is so small that it cannot be seen by the enemy. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity as he is cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. So that means from both viewpoints, if Arjuna thinks that from soul's point of view, he should not be lamenting, because soul cannot be killed. It is very small, it is eternal. So why should someone lament? The soul of the Bhishma and Drona, actually, they will not be killed. And in another point of view, why somebody should lament for the body? The body, by any amount of effort, cannot be saved. Cannot be saved permanently. After some time, the body will perish. So deep lamentation. Of course, it's not that it doesn't bring any sorrow while somebody is departing. No, that will be there. These are emotions. But lamentation is deeply caught into a state of sadness. So by reading the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, somebody will get this knowledge. So then, of course, it will help him to process all this difficult situation much better. Lamentation is not good, but showing some concerns of sadness or this is okay. Because after all, we are not Mahatma or sadhus until now. Okay, so those will happen progressively. We don't have to pretend to be like that. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. The whole spiritual, as long as it is in the body, what is the prime duty? So it has to act according to the dharma, according to religious principles. In the Vedanta Sutras, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the supreme light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. As soon as the spiritual is out of this material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is spirit soul which maintains this body. So the difference between a living body and a non-living body is what? The absence of the soul. Otherwise, the body remains the same. And after the soul leaves in the dead body, all the organs are there as it is. There is nothing missing except soul. Because soul is not there, the body started to decompose. The body has no consciousness. The body itself is unimportant. You see, after the soul leaves the body, do any people store this body? No. They burn the body or they dig inside the earth. Why? If it is so important, they will keep this body. No. The body is as such unimportant. As long as the soul is there in this body, then it's important. Arjuna was advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material or bodily consideration. So Krishna is telling, oh Arjuna, as long as the spirit soul is there in this body, it has to act according to dharma. And what is dharma of Arjuna? He is a Kshatriya. He is a Kshatriya, and Kshatriya's duty or dharma is to give protection to civilians. In this case, the Arjuna's duty is to dethrone Duryodhan, who is a very wicked king. So, what does it mean? Then Arjuna has to fight a battle, and in this battle, whoever siding the side of adharma, they have to be killed. There is no other way. So Arjuna should not basically shy away from his duty as Kshatriya. Let us go to the next verse. Okay, maybe next verse we can take it tomorrow. So already time is up because we have done a little bit of recap, although the verse is not that big. But anyway, we stop here. We can discuss 2.19 tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Have a nice day.